Couples who have different sex drives, how do you make it work in the bedroom? I don't wait for him to start. I take control, and once I do that, he realizes he's pretty damn horny too, and then we rock out. Wife and I solved this by getting into S&M. She sleeps and I masturbate. This is a fantastic question. I have an incredibly high sex drive and my boyfriend has an incredibly low one. If one of us is in the mood but the other is not, we usually masturbate together. This either one turns him on and we go at it, or two satisfies me enough to wait for the next time he is in the mood. The only real rule is that we do this together and help in whatever way we can. The other thing we do is make sure to communicate a lot about sex and what we like and how we're feeling. If I make a move and he isn't in the mood, he will be 100% honest about being tired or whatever, and then he offers to help me get off. Again, thankfully for us, that usually gets him going then too. Haha. I masturbate a lot. I've always had a higher sex drive than my husband. It helped that I learned how setting and timing are more important to him for sexy feelings than it is for myself. I think he carries around stress more and it gets in the way of feeling in the mood. What I like to do that helps him get in a relaxed mindset is light some candles, play an album of Explosions in the Sky, and give him a full body massage. Smiley face. Scheduled fornication. Every Tuesday and Saturday is happy day, usually in the evenings after the kids have gone to bed. It might appear boring, but it is surprisingly calming. There are no surprises, but there are also no nagging, resentment or expectations, at least for us. It's business time. That's why they call them business socks. After lots of communication, we've realized that she doesn't enjoy it as much because she gets caught up in her thoughts and is too worried that I'm not enjoying it. This completely ruins it for her. I've found that she enjoys it the most when we've had a few beers or are just waking up. These are the times that her brain isn't quite firing on all cylinders yet, so she wants it and enjoys it without getting into her own head. She's also Catholic, so there is some inherent guilt built in there. I make an appointment. After 34 years, it's the way it is. Meeting request. Sweet sweet lovin'. Friday at 8:45 p.m. Masturbate a lot. That's what I do. I love my wife, and her libido is not nearly as high as mine. She's willing to suck it up and have sex or give blowjobs when she's not in the mood. But I feel really selfish when she does that, even though she insists I shouldn't. So, I masturbate. I honestly don't understand why it's that big a deal. I would like to acknowledge, as many people have pointed out, that masturbation is not a magical solution. My wife and I have been married for a decade, and most of that has been very happy for both of us. Early on, though, the mismatched sex drives were a very big deal, and it took a lot of talking, revelations, and consideration for us to get to the point that we're at now. I understand that she's not rejecting me, she's just rejecting sex, and we both make it a point to show affection and caring in other parts of our relationship. Yep. Seconded. No shame with firing up the old browser and getting those German lesbian midgets on the screen when the need calls. Little late to the party, but I have went through this recently. My wife and I went through a rough patch around sex. The key thing for us was me realizing she has responsive desire. For the most part, she never thinks about sex until she is being stimulated. This means a couple things. I always initiate. I have to work for it, so to speak. What I mean by to is dropping subtle hints throughout the day. When I get home from work, I'll do the dishes, rub her feet, etc., and drop hints of making love later, like a hug behind her when she is cooking. I thought my wife hated sex, but it turns out she likes it, but only in the moment, so to speak. Keep working at it, and it will get better if they want to compromise with you. If they are not attentive to your needs, do not be afraid to speak up and let them know it's a huge deal it is to us high-drive partners. Let them know what the stakes are. I am not doing dishes for sex. I am trying to be an attentive husband who tries to do an equal share of work and responsibility around the house. Of course, there are times we have sex and I haven't done a thing around the house, or just been in a bad mood all day, and vice versa. My wife has a job where she works on her feet 12 hours a day, so you know what? Helping around the house is the right thing to do, and by default, makes her more relaxed at night, which leads to sex more than it doesn't. It works for us, so you can keep your red pill comments and PMs to yourselves. Not everyone is in a relationship where both people are high libido and sex happens 5 times a day no matter what. My problem with this is that I always feel like I'm the one jumping through hoops. It makes me feel even more worthless, especially when after all that she's still not in the mood. Man, we need a thread about happy couples with matching sex drives who have tons of sex. This shit is depressing. I am always up for it. He is not. I just have sex when he wants to. He has however showed me the magical world of masturbation and has bought me several wonderful machines who will do the job when he's unable. It's pretty neat. There's something important I haven't seen mentioned yet. Female birth control, especially the pill, can often lower a woman's sex drive. After my girlfriend got off the pill, she went from being turned on once a month to 2 to 3 times a week. If your partner is on the pill and you're having honest discussions about making things better, try switching to a different form of birth control. Note that it takes around 2 to 3 months for her body to get fully rid of the hormones from the pill. Another thing to note is that a woman's sex drive basically goes to zero after she has a baby. That's natural and you'll just have to be supportive and wait it out. I generally have a much higher sex drive than my husband because by the time he gets back from work he's just too tired for it. Originally what we did was he would get me off when I was horny instead of having sex, but I felt like it was too clinical almost and I started finding it difficult to orgasm. What I really wanted was the closeness and intimacy that comes from having sex. So in the end we ended up settling on me waiting till the weekend to have sex. But that he'd put extra effort in on the days where he wasn't as tired. It works for us. I'd love to have more sex, but I do get a ton of cuddles in the evening which makes up for it. It can be a real minefield. My wife married this big, heavy dude, but now I'm super thin and my face is a bit up from cancer. She's had to jettison pretty much everything she was attracted to and accept the post-treatment, me. The only way we got through all this is by communicating openly and honestly. To be fair, I know she'd like it to be the way it was, but there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I'll never gain weight again. Never get my teeth back I had to lose. Never fix these scars and wounds. It's the me that cancer left and it's who I am now. She's been great about it all though. I'm far too lucky. Just last night we were in bed and my bottom denture popped out right in the middle of things. I was horrified. I started to retreat in shame and she pulled me back with "That's not stopping anything," and she went on like nothing happened. That's why we've been married 20 years. She knows to share the load when it gets heavy. She let me feel good instead of shame, and that meant the world in that moment. I make up for it in other ways. Compensating, I guess, is what you would call it. I've learned to really cook and I make her very nice meals and elegant desserts. Bring her lunch. Make sure her car is super clean. Beat her to unloading the dishwasher. Stuff like that. Anyway, talk it out, op. It's not always going to be something you can overcome, but it's not insurmountable either. Talk a lot to each other. I end up settling for HJs quite often, but that tides me over and honestly keeps me really happy, especially given I know she's doing it to make me happy cause she cares. And then I make sure I more than pay her back when I catch her in a situation where she is in the mood. On top of that, the fact we're open about things means I don't feel any more I did when things first sort of slowed down, like she's not interested in it or me, or that I'm doing something wrong. Communication. We just recently decided to go with divorce. Sucks, but is what it is. As someone with a high sex drive married to someone with a low sex drive, I'll throw my hat in the ring. Typically we only do it as often as she'd like. Dependent on mood, hormones, the amount can vary, but it'll be at least once or twice a week. There are points where she'll do it simply because she knows I've had a rough day as well. It really just boils down to contentment and care for the other partner. Is sex amazing? Hell yeah. Would I have it every day if it were up to me? Hell yeah. But marriage is about more than just sex. And building a life together with my wife is amazingly satisfying. I try to respect what her body is telling her so that when she is ready we can have mind-blowing sex that is successful for both of us. She tries to respect my body by engaging with me even when she doesn't feel like it. Mutual love and respect is how we make it work. Over 5 years together and 2 years married, and I wouldn't change it for the world.